Now, to be honest with you, it's one of those days I wasn't planning to do anything. Today I'll be sort of chilling, but out of nowhere, Nickelodeon dropped a episode of the new show they made called Max and the Midknights that I wasn't sure was it about. So I did a little bit of research that I did not realize this show is based on a book based on the same creator who made Big Nick, even that had the same art style. It sort of surprised me because I wasn't sure what to expect when I pressed the first button to see the first episode. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because it actually was good. Now, before I continue, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, the reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you like how it's going, you like to help my channel, but like, comment, and subscribe. That's all you need to do, the only thing you need to do. Of course, if you don't, that's fine too. If you do, thanks. Every like, comment, and subscribe really helps my channel. Of course, I'm a small channel, but getting close to my main goal to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all to my new subscribers, commenters, and people who like and share. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about my first impression or the first episode, Max and the Midnights. Now, the first time I watched this episode, I wasn't sure if Max was supposed to be a girl or a boy because how the voice actors sounded. That I'm not sure they try and become more feminine or more male or trying to be a middle or that wasn't the focus. In fact, I'm doing a little bit of research. Yeah, I did very little research to understand this sort of show because sometimes I don't want to be deep dive that much because I wanted to see what they can do with the first episode without knowing too much background. But I was sort of curious to find out, okay, what was the purpose of that? Yeah, I read some synopsis. It supposedly was sort of accidental because the very end, Max and the Midnights wasn't really focused on about what's the gender. The focus was what's the action, what's the drama, what's the jokes, and that was the focus to the last minute of the creator decided to make her a girl because it sort of makes sense how they put this sort of universe because the whole universe in back in 14th century that Max was born that sort of she wanted to be a knight, she wanted to go action, but she doesn't know or understand where her uncle kind of travels place to place to be an entertainer. He's sort of the full musical. The only problem is her uncle is very terrible, and Max trying to figure out how to get money or food, keep throwing food at his uncle. And sort of that sort of very nihilistic, very fun comedy that actually works with this sort of genre. Of course, I did notice two very interesting things about this series. One, the animation is actually pretty good. They put a very high budget. In fact, I'm not surprised they wanted to put this on Paramount Plus first, then Nickelodeon second. I guess Paramount not making enough money or enough reason to put this on Paramount Plus. I guess and they decided to put it on Nickelodeon first, then Paramount Plus second, because that's what they usually do. First they put it on Plus, then put it on their own channel, just to get the revenue and make people interested to watch the series on the streaming channel. And you can see the budget. You can see how much love and dedication they make this actually work. Now, the second thing I've really noticed, besides the animation have a great budget, is the fact the camera direction. I was like blown away. The how they go high, low, mid, in the sort of sides, how they put the camera of the characters. Believe it or not, doing sort of action camera work is sort of difficult because if you don't have the budget, it could be a little just basic, just forward, sideways, and that's it, or long shot, close shot, and that's it. Now, nothing that fancy. This one feels like a high production action film that the camera goes all different directions to close-ups near your face to in the sides. I mean, that kind of work is sort of a pain in the ass because if you do that, if you focus that, you spend too much time to figure out does it work, the model doesn't break in pieces, because those kind of angles you really do struggle, and this just keep going and going. I'm sort of surprised how many different angles they get to the character. It's just like, whoa. But besides that, how's the character or how's the show? Well, you follow Max sort of want to be a knight. and they sort of accidentally follow the sort of kingdom that his uncle used to be. But it's a long time he actually was inside this sort of kingdom, and he didn't know what happened, what would have changed or not. He was expecting to be the same thing. So he realized, oh no, no, no. The old king has died, the new king rises and sort of destroys everything that the old king built. But I love it how they name this new king King Gas Leak. I was like, all right, I wasn't expecting that, but I kind of get it because how horrible he really is, how monstrous. You also notice something added to it, that every time they do something horrible, they cover up or put it sideways to make sure you don't see it. But they made it as a gag. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I've seen that before. People trying to show violence, but move the camera on the side so you don't actually see it. You just maybe hear it or see the reaction to the other characters. But they have fun with that. They actually make a musical when you go in the kingdom, but every time do something horrible, they put this on the front from the camera and start singing. But it's just sort of a weird gag. Yeah, I was like, all right, you having fun with that. I respect that. Of course, you find out more what happened to the original king. He just left to defend this sort of dragon. And I think his brother trying to clean up and be control at himself. And this is sort of robbed the main lead, Max, saying, okay, this is sort of wrong. No one's trying to stop this guy or do something. And they explain they can't because the king has all the power and we just peasants. To this point, I sort of realized why they made Max a girl, because sort of understand how to build the world, because there's certain rules to fit everyone. Only besides the king, he decides what to put you in, and just sort of makes sense. Force Max to be something that she doesn't want to, because the very beginning of the episode, that was the whole point. She doesn't want it to be locked in a certain place. Like his uncle, he didn't want to become a knight, he preferred to become an entertainer. The same thing happened to her. She chose to become a knight. And that made it sort of understandable why they chose this to make Max as a girl. Even that they try not to really say it out loud. The fact her gender is sort of low key, because you just say, oh, girls are not allowed to be knights. And that sort of pissed her off because she wanted to be that specific thing. But once again, it's not about the gender. It's sort of more like low key, that choosing forcing her not to do what she actually wants. And that's the whole point. Yeah, I thought that was sort of kind of clever because it really wasn't the focus. Because how low key, how they trying to just quickly say it and move on. Because it's trying not to make a big deal of it. That is just a very smart way to actually approach it. Because usually nowadays they have to make a big deal of he's a boy, he's a girl. But in the very end, it's not the gender, is about how the character reacts and how they deal with that sort of roadblock. And that's how they approach it. It's a roadblock. But there is a problem. The main actress is a female, and you try and direct her to actually hide her voice for a little while. And that is sort of hard because it's animation. I mean, it's sort of hard to hide that. It's easier to the books because how you read the book, you don't know the voice. You can sort of understand what gender the character really is in the image, but at the same time, you just don't know the voice. You can easily hide the gender or do something very unique and fun or creative to find and reveal it. But it's sort of hard to do that in animation because a female voice sounds like a female voice. Of course, some of you don't realize every time they do like a little boy, they actually hire a grown ass woman to voice it because the woman's voice sounds more like a little boy, just trying to figure out to learn her voice just enough to sound sort of cover her up so she can best to sound like a girl or a boy. In fact, you watch the episode, you do notice her voice shifted to a little bit more feminine to a little bit more male. But how she actually expressed it, I guess they did this because they wanted to kind of surprise you, trying to figure out is she a boy, is she a girl. But at the very end, it wasn't the point because the author didn't really care about it. He wants to actually show you the action, the drama, the comedy. and I have to say it is well executed. Now the main lead Max, I thought it was sort of interesting because she trying to be that sort of main lead. Oh, I am justice. I can fix this, and not realize there are also a lot of issues doing that kind of stuff. And she sort of get punished by his own uncle, who had to basically be his sort of punishment for her because how she sort of gets the king. And she sort of realized, well, she made a mistake. She had to figure it out. She needs to make a team to actually save her uncle and save this sort of small kingdom. And that's basically the whole pitch of this first episode. You know what? I was surprised. It was funny, entertaining, clever. The animation was pretty good. It's sort of hard to keep praising this show because this is in Nickelodeon Productions, because everything they do in Nickelodeon is always kind of questionable because they just sort of gave up because they just care about SpongeBob, only SpongeBob, and sometimes Loud House. If they do have a show, they semi try to promote it, but it doesn't work. They drop it because it doesn't give SpongeBob numbers. They just give up. That even if you don't realize, you need time to make a show a hit. You need time to find their fans. Even this actually has his own fan base because this is on his fourth book, if I'm correct. Please correct me down below. I'm not 100% sure, but they has his own fan base. I'm guessing they probably be maybe a season two. I'm not sure, but the first episode did blow me away because it had a lot of confidence, a lot of pizzazz, a lot of charm. Of course, it's a little slow pacing in some places, even as an action show, because the camera work shows that because how dedicated they were, but yet it kind of works. I do enjoy it. They need to maybe establish the character a little bit more, but all that, I had a good time. I mean, I don't know if I watch the second episode or watch the whole series, but I do kind of recommend watch at least the first episode on Nickelodeon channel. Of course, I don't know they have released the series yet. I don't know this is sort of the preview or what, just to motivate you watch the series. But be honest, I have not seen Nickelodeon let this sort of promoted. I never see any promotions or anything. It says a lot because I'm the guy who get usually promoted for every single type of anime and cartoon. It doesn't get to me. That says they're not promoting it right or they not promoting it at all. Hopefully he find his own people to actually promote this, their own fan base, because it is a fun show. At least for right now, I don't know if it still hold the quality of several next episodes, but we all can find out in the future. But besides that, how you felt about this? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.